So, okay, so the first there will be a complaint for the management because every year they come up with a new agenda of testing, a new agenda of test. Like they want to have TISSNET, they want to have TISSNET for ODCL, and they also want to have GD, and they also want to have subjective writing. And due to COVID, it's not like only they have the problem. Even the natural disaster that came, due to which they had to shrink, or they had shrink the admission process in just 3 phases, which is like TISSNET, interview, and extreme code. So first question from my side would be, do you think that this much is enough to actually prioritize the students or rank students for the program? Okay, should I explain the question again, Gayatri?
Would you like to take up?
Yeah. Well, actually, TISSNET has three broader structures of English, like from various. It's pretty similar to the other management exam courses, but the difference lies in the GK part. So, as difference lies in the GK part, it is
But the
static as
GK
well
is
as
same,
dynamic.
which
So
they
that
are
there is
asking for. The GK is same, which they are asking from all other students, and every program of test has TISSNET. So the TISSNET exam is not a test for merit for any particular program. It's a general aptitude test that if you qualify TISSNET, you
yes,
are able to learn at test. It's not program specific. The only thing that is program specific for you is like the personal interview. So
yeah.
so my complaint from the administration was like they should have a separate test, which at least which can actually uh, check the management aptitude, or ODCL based aptitude in students.
Yes, but I was coming to that. Because we have TISS, because TIS is basically a socially sensitive an institution with backed with research. So GK kind of forms the basis of that. And GK is not from one aspect, from different aspects of the programs offered at TISS, like arts and media, even some management, even some business news are also asked. The broader point of lies in the TISSMAT, which used to earlier happen before the COVID struck us. So in TISS MAT, there was business aptitude tests, reading comprehension, all kinds of things were included in that. Uh, but if we come to current scenario, what has been followed from the past 2 years of the trend, we have extempore round, and which is specific to the program we are aligned to. So if you are aligned for ODCL, you would be asked some kind of extempore topics which are kind of related to OD. And even in the interview, you are specifically asked why OD is important to you. And so that's a basic so that person has a basic understanding of OD when he comes to give the interview, and the professors them can gauge that is this person right fit for the OD course. Will his presence in the OD in the students add value to the peer-to-peer learning? So I think in that sense it's kind of well designed, and but I think it's very highly optimized because we have to keep the time aspect in check as well. I think Gayatri can also add on that. That was my point of view personally.
Yeah. In online personal interview, they just don't ask why OD generic questions. They, for example, in my case, it was they gave me two situations and they asked and they checked how well I apply my OD concepts, the basic understanding of OD that I had read, how well I applied the concepts to the situations, and I was probed into it very deeper. So it was a very surface level understanding if I look back, but then it was gauged because that is an extra effort that they want people to put in even at the entry level. So that is where the differentiation factor of selecting the candidate over OPI lies in. It's not like any generic person could be selected. They definitely check the merit of the students in this way. It's not just what is this, what questions were not asked. It was like how I would be applying the concepts. So that is where the difference lies, I guess.
Okay. So let's let's talk about the dates first, because many students who have joined us in live sessions, so probably they might be seeing the recorded one. They would like to know what are the important dates for getting in TISS ODCL program. So for session 2023 to 2025, the forms are out now, and the last date to fill up the form is 15th January, I think. And once they fill the form, they can maximum choose 3 priorities, and if they want to get into ODCL, they should keep the priority 1 for ODCL. And then they will appear for TISSNET, which will happen in somewhere in February. The dates are not out yet.
Yeah.
And once they will qualify from the TISSNET is qualifying, as well as the TISSNET score is also important for the final selection. And once you qualify for interviews, the extempore and OPI are not like everyone who will qualify, they will appear for the extempore and OPI in just one meeting with professors. And the weightages are 40% from TISSNET, 40% from interview, and 20% from extempore. Am I right? Okay. So is it true, no? 40, 40,
I think
20.
50%, no, it is 50, 30, and 20, I guess. if
Yes.
I'm not
Okay,
wrong,
50,
correctly.
50 for TISSNET, 30
Yeah.
for
Yes.
interviews, and 20 for
20.
extempore.
Extent.
Yeah, 20
Yeah,
for
exactly.
it was followed up to when pandemic hit us, but right now we have to see what the latest guidelines would be.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, matlab you need to score good in all 3 stages, because the
Yes,
scores
yes,
of all these 3 stages will be counted in
Exactly.
your final
yes, yes.
weighted score. So the last part of interview will be like what suggestion you will give the aspirants for preparing for TISSNET and as well as interview. So let's talk about TISSNET first. That how should they prepare? They should because the time is very less. Like we just have 1 month and 1 month, like around 40 days are left. So how do you suggest to prepare for the program?
So I personally would suggest first to have a hang of at least 6 months current affairs, like one-liner current affairs, but they should be knowing even before jumping into the current affairs parts. What I did was, and it really helped me out, was analyzing the previous year question paper, last 3 years question paper, so that you can note down which is the area that they are focusing their importance on. So, for example, I still remember they used to focus on the Nobel Prize section. At least one question would be from Nobel Prize section. So if they, rather than depending upon the analysis of somebody else, it's always good that you analyze it. And because if you analyze, like, okay, Nobel Prize was there in the previous year paper, and this year when the Nobel Prizes were announced, they'll be having, they should think that, okay, this is an important area that this concentrates on. So that is how I'm just telling this as an example. So this is how it works for all the topics. You have to analyze what is the trend of the examination, and according to that you have to prepare. And it's not just only preparing on those important areas. Over and beyond it, there is a few areas that might fluctuate. So you have to be have to have good knowledge about at least 6 months current affairs of the previous. Like if the exam is happening on February, 6 months before February. So 6 months for sure. And if you have really good time, you can concentrate on doing all the 1 year current affairs. So this would really help them in GK section. And when it comes to aptitude and reasoning, it is like not as tough as CAT examination, but it is really doable. Like, and you don't have negative marks in TISSNET, and that is one good advantage people should make use of, rather than making a random guess. If they could come decipher into some logic and make an educated guess, that would definitely fetch them at least 50-50 probability. If they fall in the positive 50, and they're going to get 1 mark, rather than not attempting at all. So, and I would like to say, like, take an educated guess rather than random guessing. And maths, and obviously it requires practice. At least an hour of practice would be sufficient for aptitude and reasoning section. And English, again, practice as much as you could take mock examinations. analyze your strengths and weakness, and then you know where you stand at in the competition. And I would also like, if time permits, they should start with solving the 2020 question paper, last year question paper, and they should know, except for GK will be fluctuating every year. English and reasoning, aptitude is one thing that they can gauge on their strength and weaknesses. So that way they can know where they stand with respect to the competition and the marks. And GK, they have to really work on daily basis, and it's always good if you have the hang of the newspaper, daily newspaper, and this newspaper reading will help you in the extempore as well, because they sometimes ask, like, what is the current situation, current business update. They'll be specific. Just, it's not an open-ended question. They'll be like specific. What happened to this organization? What is the current news with respect to this organization? So it's always good to have a habit of reading newspapers on a daily basis. It will be helpful for both the stages. And Kunal, I would like to hear it from you as well. And next we can go to the OPI section.
Yeah, for me it would be a bit different. Because since seeing the time in mind and seeing the practicality of the thing in mind, what I did was, when I had this amount of time left, I first gauged where I am standing right now. So I would rather suggest that go for mock, and keep a track, keep a Excel ready of it, and analyze what are you really good at and what are not really good at. Start working on what you are not good at and start preparing for it. So there must be few sections that we are one that I or any of us could be very good at. Try to keep it aside for that for a while and work on your weak areas. So I think 1 month would be enough for that. And for the GK part, analyzing previous year's question is very important, and we must need to understand from where these questions are coming from arts or media, or from current affairs, what they are targeting for, or awards and honors. So that, keeping that sense in mind, I think many of the aspirants who would be seeking in admission to ODCL or any other program, so it must be of a great help to them as well, and they would be able to make it.
Yeah, matlab, even we as a trainer, we focuses on these things only, like you and Gayatri said. And our GK content has specific sections like policies, because last year you had 3 to 4 questions from policies, and frequently you get questions from culture or social issues, based on social issues. Okay, so let's talk about the OPI. How did you prepare for OPI? Did it require too much of time, or you can prepare in, because this year you are not going to get time like you had in last year or last year. So you will have very limited time to prepare for OPI. So do you want to say, will you suggest that people should start preparing for OPI before TISSNET, or they can wait for that?
So it's up to them. If they think that they are really going to perform good at TISSNET, it's always good to start right now. And if they are not very sure about their TISSNET preparation, it's always good to make a educated decision. Like, let them finish the TISSNET part, and if a worst case, it will at least have 1 month for preparing for the OPAs. So that time they can, for extempore, it requires practice whatsoever it is, because you get just 1 minute. Once the topic is announced, you'll be getting 1 minute to jot down your points. And exactly after the 1 minute's alarm rings, you'll have to start. And you have to speak for 3 minutes. So you should have the knack of thinking in different multivarious dimensions in that given 1 minute. So be it any topic, it might be any topic. So few were related to ODCL, few were related to current affairs. So it depends upon your situation and the panel you are sitting in. And when it comes to the actual interview process, there are 5 books mentioned in ODCL.
This is the very new from any management program, because the only this ODCL have given 5 names that you must read one of these. Every year, like my students, they read different books. So then I get confused, from what book I should ask what, because all the books are not very similar in nature, but they have different texts there.
So Yeah,
So
they
did you
have
read
given
any
5
of
books.
so everyone of your batch have actually read a entire book, or they just looked it superficially?
No, at least a chapter people, I'm telling minimum one chapter at least people would have read, because the panelists want the understanding of the students. They want to know how students are interested in the course, how well they are aligned to the course. So the interest factor is what they are looking into, and the interest is shown by the amount of effort you put even in the evaluation process. So, for example, I read one book, and whichever book is easy, there was one book
What
which
I'll
is
do,
little
I'll jot down the 5 names here in the description of YouTube also, so that
sure.
if people want, if students want, they can start reading from
Yeah.
now on also.
And
Okay, Chalo,
PDFs are also available online free.
all these things are all like very helpful for students, because you
Exactly.
guys are very like you have consolidated the entire things in a very what I'll say effective way, so that people will not get confused, students will not get
Yeah.
confused. So I'll put in the recording off, but